The Elta at Clementi could be your last chance to buy in a Clementi new launch for quite a while. Let's talk about this today. Guys, I'm back for yet another project review, and this time around we're going to talk about the latest launch in the Elta that will be launching during this period of time. And many will be wondering, like, will this be another sell project? Like example, if you look at the previous launches like Champa, Emerald of Katong, Nava, Grove, and even the Ori will also be likely to be one of the top performing projects right from the start of 2025. Then immediately you'll be asking me, Marcus, when these people go in and buy, right, is there even an exit strategy? Will they make money given that right now they are buying like 20 to 30% higher than the resale condos, some even just beside them? And it says over here, November's new launches were the highest ever since 2013. And from an investor standpoint, what goes up always has to come down, right? And who in the market doesn't wish their prices to go down? If you have not bought anything, including myself, we're looking to buy another property right now. And honestly, when I look at the prices, I also feel that the prices are a little bit scary. So today we're going to talk about this, about the Elta. This video is not just going to go through all the project specification, because I went to check online for the Elta. There isn't a lot of people giving very specific information about this. So if you appreciate open sharing like this, do me a favor by liking this video. And in return, I'll show you this video of a monitor lizard appearing at my backyard.
My God, a monitor lizard is harmless lah.
I think so.
It's harmless.
Okay.
It's not Komodo dragon.
So how this video is going to be done is, number one, I'll be sharing with you a rapid fire project overview. Next, downsides of the Elta. Number three, estimated price matrix of the Elta. Some floor plans and site plans of the Elta to show you which are the ones that I would personally pick. And last but not least, price justification and why you should consider the Elta as an investment. Before we go into the details, it's worth noting that the Elta will be the only new launch in the OCR that is high-rise and 39 stories. It's a JV between MCL Land and CSC Land. And when it comes to the number of bidders bidding for this plot, it was a healthy 6 bidders. Why? For a very simple reason. Because the last launch that happened in Clementi was already 4 years back, right after the COVID lockdown. And hence, we all know that Clementi is usually quite a hot favorite when it comes to the Westies. And I'm talking about myself. So coming to the location is basically right smack in between the Clement Canopy and as well as the Clairvon. Clairvon just TOP in year 2024. And you can see that ever since year 2015, where the GLS for Clement Canopy has been concluded, all the way until 8 years later for the Elta GLS to be concluded, you can see that the land cost per square foot per plot ratio increased from $615 per square foot per plot ratio to today 1250, which is a 100% increase in pricing. Then immediately in your mind is that, oh, if I don't buy this, I cannot buy anything in Clementi again. Actually, it is not exactly true, because recently in 2024, one of the developers, Gokoland, actually managed to get their hands on a plot where Faber walk, which is within 1 km to Nanghua Primary School, right beside the waterfront on Faber, which I think by now should be close to 10 years old already, at an estimated break-even price of 1682. Total number of bidders 3, and the highest bid was $900 per square foot per plot ratio. So if you are looking to buy the Elta just because you FOMO want to buy something in Clementi, actually you don't really need to lah, because you wait for another 1 year plus, there's still another plot coming. But long story short, what I'm trying to share with you here is that the land cost in Clementi constantly goes up. Why? Because it's largely fueled by massive amounts of HDB upgraders which still wish to enjoy the facilities of living inside the heartlands. Now, so much about the location. Before we move on, if you need any advice on the new launches that you are looking at, or you're currently considering the Elta and you wish to have a plan, this is my number. Feel free to give me a call. Actually, I'm quite friendly one lah. I can actually share with you my advice. So here's the project overview in a rapid fire version. So it's a JV between MCL Land and CSC Land. The project name is called the Elta. 99-year leasehold commencing for February 2024. Total 2 blocks, 39 story with 1 basement car park and 3 multi-story car parks. Basement pool, communal facilities on the lot at Clementi Avenue 1. So site area is approximately 150,000 square feet. For high-rise development is considered decent. So overall plot ratio is 3.5. Total units 501. 401 car parks including 5 EV charging lots. Expected vacant possession is year 2029, which usually will be a little bit earlier than that. So looking at this, my comments is that number one, there's no 100% parking lots, which is quite common these days, and there are only 5 EV charging lots. Which, are you someone that has experience living in a condo where your neighbors will start sending photos of each other's car at the charging point and ask each other to remove their cars? I would love to hear from you, because I got this feedback from my friends. I personally find that living in a condo having an EV car not super pleasant, but feel free to let me know inside the comments because I personally is looking to buy an EV car. So I don't know whether is that the reason why EV resale value is a bit lower lah. But anyway, I digress. Sorry, it was meant as a joke lah. But I'm just thinking like 1% of the residents can own a EV. So coming to three major downsides of the Elta is number one, the next plot of land that is available in the Clementi vicinity will be about $300 per square foot per plot ratio cheaper than the Elta, which is the one I mentioned just now at Faber Walk, and that's within 1 km to Nan Hua Primary School, which brings me to my next point. The Elta is not within 1 kilometer to Nan Hua Primary School, which is predominantly the reason why many families with school-going kids wants to reside in the Clementi vicinity. So last but not least, it's not exactly super close to the MRT station, which you know in Singapore, most people are sucker for MRT station when it comes to buying condo. And having said that, not throwing shit at people who like MRT, I personally also like MRT, and most of the developments I recommend to my clients are within walking distance to the MRT station. So this is the article. Gogoland let JV submits Faber Walk GLS site, and this is the site location. The tender for the GLS highest bid was $349 million, $900 per square foot per plot ratio, and is also a 99-year lease. So the land is huge, 277,000 square feet site area, 400 total units. So it's basically a low-rise development, and what it offers is actually the view of the canal and as well as nature lah, as compared to the Elta. So it's a different thing altogether, but it's worth noting that it's only acquired at $900 per square foot per plot ratio, which is about 25% cheaper than the Elta. So that would potentially be a cheaper alternative. So this is the estimated break-even. Basically, the estimated break-even for this plot that is acquired by Gogoland is 1682 PSF. So even if you use a 20% profit margin, we are talking about a potential launch price at 2018, and even if you slap another GFA harmonization, potentially even at 20% profit margin, it could be launching at about $2,100 per square foot. As opposed to the Clermont, the break-even itself is already higher than 2119 per square foot. Next, the MRT station. If currently you use Google Maps to go and check, the MRT walk from the Clermont, which is right beside the Elta, is actually 16 minutes walk, 1.2 kilometers from the Clementi MRT station. So the general public will immediately say, wow, it's so far away from the MRT station. This is not near MRT station. Yeah, so many people just say that 16 minutes walk in Singapore context, where Singaporeans are pretty spoiled already, they will think that it's far away from the MRT station. But before you think that I'm here telling you why don't buy the Elta, right? So please make sure you stay until the end. Last but not least, if you go and run a search, Nan Hua Primary School, you know all Singaporeans are usually kiasu parents. Unfortunately, you'll be able to see that from Clermont onwards is actually already outside the 1 kilometer. So meaning to say that the purpose of buying the Elta is to be within 1 km radius of the Nan Hua Primary School, then Elta is out. That's all. Here are the facts and my opinions about the downsides of the Elta. And before we move on to the price matrix, if you appreciate open sharing like this that talks about the emotional factors, not just the price and the facts of the developments, subscribe to this channel so that you won't miss out on the next one, and it's going to help me a great deal. Thank you so much. So coming to the estimated pricing of this development, first we want to talk about the unit mix. There are 36 units of 1 bedroom plus study, 2 bedrooms, there are a total of about close to 200 units, 3 bedroom and 3 bedroom premium 100 plus units, 4 bedroom, and even has a 4 bedroom dual key, which these days dual key not super popular. I wonder why developers are beginning to do dual key once again, mainly largely due to the fact that now is the ABSD increase and the demand for dual key should be higher. And last but not least, the 5 bedroom 1776 square feet, the big 5 bedroom, I always call it the richest neighbor in the block. There are 35 units out of 501 units. So when it comes to the price matrix, we often want to use the biggest unit. Why? Because you always expect the biggest unit to have the lowest BSF. So let's assume that the developer actually adds a 5 to 10% profit margin onto the break even, means to say that the 5 bedrooms at $2,300 per square foot could start potentially at $4 million. They may even say that, oh, starting from 3.9x million dollars or the 3.x million dollars as a hook to get people in. So coming to the price matrix, I would like to disclaim myself that I'm not representing the developer nor our company. I basically just based on my own opinion and based on my own wishful thinking as a buyer, I hope that developers will actually sell at slightly above break-even price. With that being said, I would think that realistically, if you're looking to buy a unit in the Elta, you should prepare yourself to be paying between the price of $2,450 per square foot to about $2,650 per square foot. Yes, the pricing is a little bit high, but you need to remember that it's a high-rise building, and imagine each level being 10,000 higher for, let's say, a 2-bedroom unit with 40 stories up, right? Means to say that you are talking about 400,000 difference from the lowest floor to the highest floor. So giving yourself enough price buffer will give you a higher chance of getting a unit in the Elta. And do not forget, there's also agent purchase and bulk purchase. So the thinking of getting at the lowest PSF may not be realistic. So if you're someone that can only afford the price range at the lowest quantum, I would think that you can start looking at the current launches in the market that is already up for sale, and then you are able to find value over there. And instead of waiting for luck, which is like 1 out of 1,000, I would think that realistically, look at the current launches, there are still some low-hanging fruits out there that you can consider as well. If you wish to get the list of the low-hanging fruits in the market right now, do give me a call. Happy to share with you more on the Elta and as well as the available units in the market. Coming to the site plan, the main entrance is actually at Clementi Avenue 1. Once you enter in, there's a foyer right here, and this very light color green, right, or what? Stack 10 is actually the 1-bedroom plus study. If you see, the 2 bedrooms will actually be this dark green color ones. The dark brown will be the 3 bedrooms, and the bigger ones, of course, will actually be the 4-bedroom. Stack number 1 is the 5-bedroom. So if you are looking for 3 bedrooms, it's good to know that all the 3 bedrooms actually have quiet facing over here. And some people, once you look at the site map, you will immediately raise a red flag. In front is actually Ayer Rajah Expressway. So if you're someone that is looking for a own stay perspective and you prefer a quiet facing, right, you either take the low floor expressway facing, or you just go for the inner facing altogether just to avoid the expressway sound. But today you'll be wondering, why is the 5-bedroom, the most expensive unit, actually positioned facing the expressway, when common sense tells you that people prefer not to be facing the expressway? For a very simple reason. Today, if you're actually facing Clementi Avenue 1, yes, you will be avoiding the sound from the expressway. However, you will not be enjoying the kind of views that you'll be getting if you're taking the expressway facing. Like my cousin actually stays in a 3+ study in the Claremont. They chose to go for the expressway facing. Why? Because they feel that the view is something that is irreplaceable. Even though in terms of sound, right, since we're at home, we usually turn on the aircon. Why bother so much about the sound? The most is you turn up the volume a little bit. At the end of the video, I'll go through the pricing, why I think that even highway facing are worth investing in. But coming to the floor plans, here's the different unit types spread across the site map for you to have clarity in case you're buying for own stay. But I won't be going through the floor plan one by one because of time. We don't want this video to become too long. Before you buy a condo, you will surely go down to see the showroom, and before you even know your balloting number, you would have already known the floor plans already. So coming to the Elta, whether is it a good investment, I will fall back to my 3 key indicators when selecting the right project investment, which is number 1, the exit strategy / demand, number 2, the future pricing / developments, and number 3 is the price justifiable as compared to resale and new launch around the vicinity. So first, who will be the future buyers that are buying from you, and what is your exit strategy? Coming to the exit strategy / demand, it's obvious today if you have been staying in Singapore for long enough, Clementi is an area that is surrounded by $1,000,000 HDB flats, which I don't need to emphasize more. Basically, there are a lot of people who are willing to move from the Green Line, maybe if you're staying in Queenstown or even Redhill area. Many of my clients are okay to actually move down to Clementi in order to upgrade to the next asset class without increasing their monthly commitment by too much. Why? Because today from Clementi, if you take a couple of minutes to get there, and we all know that today in Dawson area, which is the Queenstown MRT area, HDBs already crossed the likes of $1.5 million. $1.3 million are pretty common these days. And today, if you are buying into a 3-bedroom compact unit at, for example, $2.2 million, hoping to exit in future at $2.7 million, by then the HDB flats in Dawson area will likely be around $1.6 to $1.7 million. So assuming if this seller of the HDB flat has an outstanding loan of, let's say, $400,000, and it means that if you wish to exit at $2.7 million in future, this potential buyer just needs to take a loan of $1.5 million, which equates to about $6,000 to $7,000 monthly installment per month. And using that as a calculation, right? So assuming both husband and wife are working, contributing close to $3,000 to their monthly ordinary account, they just need to top up a monthly cash of $3,000. Does it make sense to you? So in a nutshell, that sums up the potential potential exit strategy / demand for staying in the Clementi area. Next, we also want to talk about people who wish to stay close to Bukit Timah because of schools, close to NUS and whatnot. However, they cannot afford the price tag of staying in Bukit Timah and at the same time wish to enjoy the amenities within the heartlands itself. Because today, if you go to Bukit Timah and you wish to buy a new launch over there, we'll be talking about $3,000 to $3,500 per square foot using Watton House as an example. And it's also worth noting that today in District 5, which is the Clementi district, there isn't much of a competition when it comes to new completed homes. By the time this development, the Elta, is being completed in the year 2009, that those that have recently TOP like the Claremont and as well as Park Clementis will be 5 to 6 years old by then already. The level of scarcity within the Clementi area on top of the $1 million HDB flats all the way that stretches until Tanjong Pagar area means to say the exit strategy / demand, it fulfills the level of demand and exit strategy. Next, the future pricing and development. We all know that today the government actually launches MRT stations for a reason, and the often forgotten MRT line is none other than the Cross Island line that stretches from West Coast area all the way until the other end of Singapore. And it's worth noting that the Cross Island line actually cuts across Clementi and then to Maju, and that this plot around the Maju area that has already been converted into subject to detailed planning, which is likely going to become residential as well. And with the MRT line cutting across the Clementi all the way until Maju area, means to say that the government, in order to justify building these MRT tracks, they will still have to build residentials around it. Which brings me to my point, when you look at the Maju area, most of the land has been converted to subject to detailed planning, and we are guessing that could be potentially a new township around that area in order to justify building the MRT station. Which means to say that in the next coming years, there could be more GLS happening in the area, pushing up the price. Next, adding on to more GLS, there's also this very popular plot called the Holland Plain, which is right behind my house. I'm very sad that it's going to be developed into condominiums, but it is what it is, and for that premium land which belongs to the District 10, we'll likely be seeing the launch prices crossing $2,700 to $2,800 per square foot. By the time the Holland Plain GLS is being concluded, most likely in the next few months, you start to see that Clementi Avenue 1 being walking distance to Clementi MRT station at 2004 will look like a very, very cheap option. And talking about the future development, I wouldn't want to go into the details, but we all know about the Greater Southern Waterfront City, the Greater One North and Jurong East. We are basically surrounded by 3 major transformations of Singapore area, further enhancing the future potential upside of the Elta. Now, when we talk about pricing, if we use a comparison within developments in District 5 itself, yes, there's a lot of arguments saying that there's no school, not super near MRT. Let's use the latest example, Normanton Park, which we all know that when you drive past the AYE, you will see this major development beside the AYE. It's a development that is not near the MRT station and as well as not near any schools as well. If you look at the price profitability around this area, even the 1-bedroom unit is able to make an annualized profit of 9% and you can see that the 3 bedrooms are the champions. Why? Because for the purchase price of 1.6 million, the owner is able to exit at a profit of 500k within a period of 3 years. The reason is very simple, because there's a lot of people that don't really care about how close you are to the MRT station. Yes, it's a bonus. As long as it's within 10-15 minutes walk, they're actually okay. They don't really need to be beside the MRT station, but what they want is to be close to the expressway, because when they drive or they take Grab, right, close to the expressway means that to say that you avoid having to be stuck at the traffic light for 10 minutes before you can get to the highway. There are also developments within the Clementi vicinity as well, but closer to the West Coast area. Judging by the pricing over here, you already see the prices of resale properties in Whistler Grand already trade above $2,000 per square foot. Not forgetting, for Normanton Park itself, the 3 bedrooms in the development in the resale market has already traded above $2,300 per square foot. And remember what I mentioned earlier on, no MRT and no school is already transacted above $2,300 per square foot. If we drag the map closer to where Claremont is, but in a more inconvenient location, in the resale market, we use the example, the Whistler Grand, we already see transaction trading across $2,000 per square foot, not within walking distance to MRT station. And if you use Park Clementi's, which is within 1 km to Nanhua Primary and in the heart of Clementi, you see the prices of even 4-bedroom units transact above $2,352 per square foot. So that's so much about the resale market. And for the new launch market, very simple. If you look at the new launch in Jurong area itself, today it's quite hard for you to find Jurong Jurong new launches below the PSF of $2,300 per square foot. If you want to buy a new launch in the Jurong Boon Lay area, it's already 2,300 plus per square foot. And not forgetting the Jayden, which is at Jurong East MRT station. One MRT station further away from Clementi has already traded above $2,800 per square foot and at an average of 2,400 plus per square foot. So comparing with the resale market prices and the new launch prices, does the Elta pricing make sense to you? So last but not least, the 4-bedroom compact unit, which I personally am eyeing as well. I totally like the size of 1184 square feet. I think it's a very palatable quantum at $2.7-ish million. However, the downside is that for 4-bedroom units, most people will actually prefer to have a junior master room, which means a third bathroom. For this floor plan, it doesn't come with the third bathroom, which may be a bummer for some of the families with large families or even growing up kids. However, that isn't a major concern. I think these days, average household sizing has already shrunk. I don't think that will be a major issue. I think people will be more focused on the quantum, largely due to the TDSR as well. So let me know if you wish to check out the showroom. If not, like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell because we post weekly real estate videos like this. Thanks for watching until the end. See you at the next one and all the best to your balloting number at the Elta. Bye.